there enough light in here?
Yeah. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly
Okay.
fine. Okay, cool. Kelly, super
Hello.
excited. So I didn't even read your chapter yet because I haven't gotten to anyone's chapter.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
excited to know what you actually wrote about because I mean the editor was just singing your praises. She's like, "Oh my goodness, Kelly is
Oh,
such a good writer, and her chapter's gonna need minimal editing because she's so perfect." And I was like, I have to read it.
well, she was very kind and I appreciated it. As I was explaining to her that I've been writing for 10 years, and this is actually my first part that's getting out, being pushed out into the world. So, you never know how things are going to be received by someone else when you've been doing this long. So it was nice to get the positive feedback. It's nice because I'm passionate about what I write about, and this all came from a personal experience, so an inner resource. So it was fun to write. It was fun to write.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good to hear. I mean, if you've been writing for 10 years and it's the first time you're actually putting something out there, it's way overdue. It's about time. So it's gonna be good because you've
A
had 10
little
years
bit.
to make it perfect.
Little bit. And the 10 years is about something completely different, right? So
Yeah.
this was a product, a net product from my experience from my hypnotherapy training,
Hmm.
how I healed from past life regression personally, and then how it just kind of was a culmination of how my life experience had led up to that and how everything is connected and why it happened, because I was getting on my own spiritual authentic path. And then from there, how it healed 15 years of one past life regression, one half-assed one too, I might add, because it was in my training. It was like just very skeletal, but I suffered with 15 years of anxiety and depression, and it took it away instantaneously. I experienced a spontaneous healing from it. And when I say I used to be crazy, I used to be crazy. And it took, I was not easy to live with. Hat tip to my ex-husband who put up with my crazy. But but really when since I'm a psychic medium and I've been a spiritualist for all these years, and then finally with hypnotherapy and starting out with stepping out to do my own private practice coming out of 20 years of corporate America, I think it happened like that for that reason, for me to heal in that way so that I would become a past life regressionist, because past life regression is the one process that dovetails spirituality and hypnotherapy. And I became impassioned about both of them because I was crazy as bad shit and I healed profoundly from it, and it dovetailed the spirituality aspect. So it really was divine order.
That's very fascinating for me. I'm fascinated about everything related to hypnotherapy and regressions because not just from our group, but doing the research, I've seen how it changes people's lives and how it alters their
Oh my
brain and
God.
how it makes them um, just be a different person in the sense that they become more fully themselves. They release the fears, they release all the limiting beliefs and the things that are holding them back from being who they need to be in this life and doing the good work that they need to do. So I'm curious in your
Right.
instance, in your situation, or maybe even in people that you've worked with, or even in your own spontaneous healing, what was one of the things that really made a difference for you from how you used to be to who you became or how you transformed
Mm.
that changed everything for you, that changed your life?
Well, like I said, I think it was divine timing and divine order that it happened the way it did, because I was a product of Catholic school. So this went way, way, way back. Way, way, way back to actually me being born different. I'm an African American woman with red hair, freckles, and I was bullied. So I was very, so that shaped my personality as I was coming up, and I always felt different. And then being indoctrinated into the Catholic school for 12 years, Catholic school system for 12 years, and deep in Catholicism, it never sat well in my spirit. I always questioned because they taught God is unconditional love and forgiving and non-judgmental, yet the religion teaches all about judgment and rules so that you can be deemed worthy to enter into the pearly gates of heaven at the end of your lifetime, right? It didn't square up for me. I always question, well, how can God be unconditionally loving and non-judgmental, but needs us to do this and judges us? So the answer was always don't judge, have faith, and just don't question, right? So when I went away to college, it was my first opportunity to really go on my own spiritual journey to figure out what was true and what wasn't. So that's how I discovered that I was a psychic medium because I didn't know of my intuitive gifts before I went off to college. Literally. I had one knowing, one hit when I was thumbing through a college handbook and came across UC Berkeley and then had it was like automatic. I knew I was going to go there. It made no sense. There was no rationality to it. I just knew. So that was my first knowing, but didn't even register that that's what that was. So when I went off to college and I taught myself the art of meditation, and then I met my spirit guide, Hiram. I began to uncover my intuitive gifts. So then I went on this whole journey of exploring that, but I was always looked at sideways about that. People called me Miss Cleo. You're going to get arrested. You're doing devil's work. I mean, just the judgments just never ended. So as I got a foothold in my real life after college, married a pelvic surgeon, then just started showing up for everybody else in my life and not really myself. So I over time became a ghost in my own life. And when I made the commitment to be a good partner when I got married to somebody who worked 100 hours a week, um, it just started the process of me just not honoring myself, not knowing I didn't know it. It was very, I don't know, it was a slippery slope. So then when I had my daughter, I almost died having my daughter, almost bled to death. So I had birth trauma. And I remember from that moment on where I had been type B, I was type A. Something flipped a switch in me, Ameera, like I couldn't believe. I was just a neurotic mess from that moment on. And so there started my journey of a 15-year struggle with anxiety and depression. I ate myself 20, 70, no, not 20, 70 pounds heavier than I am right now. I was profoundly unhappy. And I was Dame Doom. I was always, you know, worried, anxiety riddled that something was going to happen to the kids and my dad, not my ex-husband, but my kids. And it just didn't make sense. It was irrational. So when finally I went all the way to 15 years, no. I think I was 48, something like that, before I decided I was going to go take the deep dive into my go step out on faith on my private practice, do my spiritual work. And that's how I found hypnotherapy. Um, Oddly, when I was bridged back into that past life regression, it was a Western era, and I was a saloon girl. And my daughter died in that lifetime. So I found out that, and that was a traumatic past lifetime. I write about it in the chapter, so I'll spare some of the details. But I ended up killing myself. I hung myself. I was a town drunk. And, I just lived a very grief-riddled life because I had lost my daughter and my husband in that lifetime, which the energy I recognize as my father in this one. Hence the cellular trauma that bled through to this lifetime that was triggered when I had my daughter in this one. So it's very true that past life trauma can bleed through into this lifetime, which is very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And even more interesting how it just cleared as soon as I had it. 4 days later, I just noticed it was so subtle that it was just gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
find that extremely fascinating too, how past life traumas bleed into this life. And it's like I always think about it like, okay, why? Why is this happening? how, like, I need to heal something. Obviously, I need to experience something so that it doesn't happen in another life, or that I don't need to go through this pain again, or whatever it may be. But it's like, if I didn't know about this, would I still have been stuck in the suffering? If I didn't learn about it, if I didn't have the regression, if I didn't find out about it. Like, for an example, you gave the example of when you were a saloon girl in another life, and then you lost your dad, your husband, and your child, and then in this life you had an extremely difficult situation where you almost died with your baby. And with me, when I was pregnant with my second baby, for some reason, it was just a very difficult pregnancy. I had extremely high blood pressure. I was a high risk pregnancy. It was very difficult. Everything was extremely challenging throughout the entire pregnancy. I didn't even know I was pregnant because all of my tests were negative until I was about
Oh my
8 weeks.
God.
It was 8 weeks for my personal test, and then 12 weeks at the doctor's office.
Hmm.
They didn't know that I was pregnant. I knew, but they wouldn't believe it because the tests were all negative, right?
Right.
And I
Wow.
was speaking to someone I was doing a NDE interview for, and
Hmm.
he was a seer. And he said, I can do a reading for you quickly. I can read into your energy. And we didn't do a full regression, but he said that in another life that I was connected to very strongly, um,
Hmm.
I kept losing babies. I kept losing pregnancies. And
Oh,
so there was a connection where my body was triggering, like, oh, high blood pressure, freak out because I'm pregnant. It didn't want to go through the loss again. And it was just a reaction from my physical body.
absolutely.
So that was,
Mm.
it was the first time I actually thought about it in that sense, because I never had regressions before that. So it was like, if I didn't know about that, would I then just continue with the suffering? Because once I knew about that, I started doing things that helped me. Like, I started taking, foods and things that helped with the blood pressure. I started doing things that were helping me, feel better and things. But if I didn't know, would I have changed my behavior? Is the question, or would I have
I
changed?
think it's different for everybody given what your life journey is. Because I believe and since I've been doing past life regression for 15 years, I've seen a lot of things and dealt with the higher self to get some good information. And what I can surmise is that different people, it happens different ways. Now, sometimes you can go, you don't get it all done in your lifetime. And then, the beautiful thing about all of this is that we're eternal energy, right? We'll just come back and try it again. So maybe, maybe not. But I do think that there are some life plans that are written that you're meant to get it done. So it's going to front load you on the experiences that's going to be impactful enough to point you strongly in the direction to get things done. Does that make sense? So, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But then there are certain lifetimes where they're meant to be significant,
Yeah,
and I think, yeah. So I think that, you are being shown a lot in this one recently about your spiritual path. So
yeah,
I think this one is setting up to be a rather significant one for you too,
yes.
as well as myself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, for sure.
believe
In the
that way.
last, I would say, I don't know, in the last couple of years, for sure, things have been ramping up for me. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's because, partly, I believe it's because, well, the timing, it's the right time. But also, I
Mhm.
wanted this, right? I asked for it. There was a time where I was just, going about the motions, just doing life and just, paying bills and, being normal or whatever. And it was so unfulfilling.
Whatever
I
that
was
is.
so unhappy. I was just so empty, I guess. I was just not feeling the passion and the excitement. And I didn't wake up every day feeling excited. Oh, I get to speak to Keli today. Oh, I get to do this today. Oh, it was just
Yeah.
like, okay, same old, wake up, brush your teeth, see to the kids, and,
Yeah.
go back to bed. So I wanted this. And I remember I was doing yoga, and I was, doing my meditation practice, but not with any real intention in mind. And I was praying and I said, well, I want to know my purpose. I want to know what I need to do. I want to know where I belong in all of this. And that was now, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. So after
Mhm.
that, things started picking up. But in the last 2 years, it just, I don't know, exploded.
Oh, that's that good old universal truth, asking is given, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, asking is given. Many of us just make the mistake of not asking the right questions.
Yes.
That's half the
Yeah.
battle. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
looks like
thinking that, because we have free will at the end of the day. And
mm,
if you don't want it, if you don't ask for it, then it's not going to just fall into your lap. You know?
nope. You got to be ready for it. And when
Yeah.
you are ready for it, there's some very impactful things that can happen.
Yeah.
And I think that that's true. You know, you doing the yoga, you were creating space for quiet and stillness
Yeah.
to receive those directives,
Yes.
points in the right in that direction. You
Yes.
were opening up to receive the information, and I think that that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
look back at my journals from that time. I think there was a journal from 2021, end of 21, beginning 22.
Hmm.
I was looking back at my journals because I was looking for some writing that I did that back then. And I
Hmm.
saw in my journal entries me describing the life that I'm living now, but not from a standpoint of like what I'm doing, more the feeling of it, the excitement
Yeah.
of being awake every day and being alive every day and actively contributing to humanity's awakening and their evolution spiritually, and having my hands, so to say, in the clay and working and doing things and joining with
Yeah.
others. And it's an exciting feeling because back then I didn't know what it would look like. But now I know that it could not be any different than it is now, you know?
Absolutely. And it's timely too because of what's going on in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I teach a lot of psychic development students, and what's interesting is getting their perspectives about things as we tap into their gifts. And they have been uh, quite a few of them have been reporting how in a past life or past timeline, there was many of us that came as healers and worked together as a group in order to move into the sixth dimension, but we failed. So what we did was we decided to all come back and work independently on our own journey, and then at certain point we would all come together. But we were going to get it done this time. So many people are being activated. And even those of us who have been on our spiritual journeys for a long time and already taken a dive into our gifts, we're being activated to take an even deeper dive. So there's something about the time right now. And now that we have entered into the year of the fire horse, too, this is an action-oriented um, timeline and year. So, and energetically, all kinds of things. As I think somebody told me today, there was 9 kind of houses in Aries or something at this particular time. I'm not that, up on astrology, but energetically, because I've been wondering, because why is everybody crazy these days? Why? And feeling the energy is kind of wild. And that's why, because astrologically, planetary wise and energetic wise, there's a lot going on. And that's a
Yes.
very aggressive energy. Aries is aggressive energy.
Yes, and you can feel it. You can feel it in even just, even if you are not in the crazy areas where crazy things are happening, even if you're just in the store, for example, there's a lot of aggression, like in the air.
Right.
And I think partly, well, yes, the astrology for sure, but also
Mm.
numerologically.
Numerologically, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That part.
It's a 1 year, and one
Mhm.
is a masculine year. So masculine energy is very aggressive. It's very
Mm.
kind of,
I think it's numerically.
yeah. You know what I'm saying. Y'all know what
I don't know.
y'all know.
I know what
Numerology,
you meant
y'all know.
though.
It's
I don't
numerology
know.
with the
Right.
ending. Just add
Right.
the ending.
That part.
Yeah,
It's a
so
lot.
So a very aggressive energy. And for me personally, it's a 1 year too. I'm also experiencing
Yeah.
a personal 1 year as it is a worldly 1 year.
Hmm.
So I can feel that aggression and that need to be action oriented and do the work and actually physically wake up. And I've never been more energized than I am, in this
Right.
this year. So I can feel
Mm.
that. And I wonder, have you been seeing lately in the people you are working with, have they been coming to you with any specific themes in common? Like, are there specific maybe fears that they are trying to alleviate, or any specific work that they're trying to do or accomplish this year that is, a pattern that you've been seeing amongst a few people? What's been going on?
I say most people, there is a real shift to authenticity right now. And I think people are really just trying to figure out what that looks like for them and to
Yes.
figure out what their life purpose is, their soul plan, and come into alignment of it and trying to figure out what their gifts are in order to follow that plan.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But that's because that's a mere reflection of what my life path was. So we
Yes.
tend to, magnetize our experience.
Yes.
That's just the niche of people that I work with. So I'm seeing that more because I went from primarily my private practice of hypnotherapy, seeing clients one-on-one, to in the past 8 months to a year, I have switched completely to teaching
Yes.
for both psychic development, hypnotherapy, transpersonal, past life regression,
Yes.
because I teach 5 different modes of past life regression as well as future progression. So I do higher self, life between life, traditional past life regression. Then I do an integrative process where I do all of them together. And it's for the purpose of working with people trying to apply all of those techniques to get the maximum information that they can get in one setting. And a
Mm,
lot of these sessions are a good 3 to 4 hours, so they're pretty comprehensive. But this is what people are looking for right now, from my experience.
yeah. And thank you for
Hmm.
doing that. I mean, it's important. Recently, you explained to me and were sharing with me how I can activate my own gifts and
Hmm.
use that for healing, not just for myself, but for
Yeah.
others as well. And it's been working, so I'm
Well,
excited.
you popped up, you hijacked my meditation. What
I'm
can I
sorry.
say?
I just
You
had to
know,
do it. I had to
No,
do it.
it was, is that's how it works. That's how my gifts work. I'm just meditating, and all of a sudden there you are. And it came up that I was meant to deliver the message to you. So, and I got the push, call her now. And it's odd that we were able to just connect in that moment. I
Yeah.
shot you a note saying, "Can you talk?" But this is what's interesting because past life regression is a wonderful, wonderful process because it has a tendency to imprint things. And so when you experience things, it shifts how you live because of the awareness and the information that comes because you infuse with the higher part of who you are. It's like you peek behind the veil and get a reemergence with yourself as spirit and
Yeah.
all of that wisdom that comes with it. You don't forget that when you have that experience. You
Yeah.
do not forget that. But other than these experiences through past life regression, I have to say a lot of what, how I use my gifts is just been inner resourced. And so that process that you and I did, it was completely, I didn't know what was going to happen, but it
Mm,
just goes to show what, when you open up and allow yourself to be shown, you can tap into that universal intelligence,
yes.
which includes being able to heal your body
Yes.
and that of others,
Yes.
if it's meant to. Now, people need to be open to it and they need to be, spontaneous healing can happen
Yeah.
for almost anybody if they're ready,
Yeah.
and 85% of things that show up in the body, 85%, Spirit told me, is due to an emotional state that needs to be redirected. That's why it's
Yes.
there.
Yeah. And what I've been seeing also, well, I'm discovering, I'm new to the energy healing thing, but what I've been
Mhm.
seeing is that circumstances don't matter as much as I thought it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I had to see for myself to step into that belief. And I know usually the belief needs to come first, but in my case, it didn't. I had to do the work and then see, oh, okay, so I believe that the circumstance was more powerful over the situation than my healing abilities, but that's not actually the case. So
No.
it's dynamic and it's changing, and it's changing the way I think about not just the healing work, but life and everything. It's changing me, you know?
Well, this is a mind bender because time and circumstances is a perception.
Yeah.
It's a human construct. And the thing that has been shown to me recently is that, we switch timelines all the time.
Yeah.
Our what our human experiences, it is not static, it is not fixed. In fact, Spirit has told me it's as malleable as a cobweb that you can blow away,
I love
that
that.
we create from our free will choice from moment to moment to moment. And from our free will choice, we jump timelines all the time. Things seem to be the
Yes.
same, but it's entirely different. And if we dispense of limiting beliefs that we are bound by the past, because even the past can change with
Yes.
our thoughts and creativity and imagination, that everything in our life can change. And our experience is a direct mirror of what our internal narrative is from
Yes.
moment to moment. That's a mind bender,
Yes. Yes.
but
And it's
that's true.
exciting because once you realize that it's the time factor, because we think linearly, but if you remove the time factor and it's just isness, everything is just there all the time, then you can see, oh, okay, I can actually change things. I can have an experience now that can affect my future and my past at the same time. And then it's not just, like you say, it's not just this timeline, but there are other timelines as well. And you can choose any train track to get on or get off of, because all of these timelines
But
are running
more than
parallel
that,
and
we
they are
do that
infinite.
every day.
Yeah.
We do that every day. Now,
Yeah.
the thing is that we create the same crazy because we believe the same crazy,
Yes.
So that's why, my other book is about unlearning. A Seven Universal Truth is about unlearnings of how we've been conditioned and indoctrinated so that we can actually step into our power to understand that this is truth so
Yes.
that we can manifest more of what it is that we desire. Because they say, Spirit, that once you understand your truth and you're standing in your power, that you can bend your life to all of your desires.
Yes. I love that.
And that's because we're powerful creators. We
Yeah.
just don't know what we're doing.
Or we know what we're doing so much that we think we don't know what we're doing. We forgot.
Well, whatever it is, it's a lack of belief. It's a doubt in our power, I think. Because if we
Yes.
really stood in that power, then we would not let, what I call the weeds of doubt, anxiety, worry, and fear
Yeah.
encroach upon the beautiful seeds that we can plant every day. Or doubt makes us plant the seeds and then dig them up
Yeah.
every day to make sure they're growing, which they're
Yes.
never going to grow. You have to
Yes.
just kind of know that, set your sights on what it is that you desire. And as I say, maintain the spirit of the toddler that doesn't have
Yes.
any quit in them, and embrace failure moving forward. And you'll reach all of your desires if we do that.
Yes. I'm so
Mhm.
excited because that's exactly what this book is about. It's about releasing those limiting beliefs, releasing those fears, releasing all these false ideologies we have about the soul's journey in general. I mean, each story is different and highlights a different aspect of the soul's journey. But, if you look at that bigger picture of the soul's journey, what can we release today in the realm of fears, limiting beliefs, and false ideologies that can get us closer to being who we are and doing the work we came to do and experiencing life and creating what we want to create and having these amazing magical experiences and joining with others and coming to fulfill what we said we were going to do.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
even if it just activates one person, helps one person, heals one person, then our work is done. So Thank you, Kelly. And I'll have your links where everyone can find you and work with you and learn from you. Kelly's an amazing teacher. She's so patient. She's so wonderful. Work with her, find her, look her up. I'm going to put all her links in the description. And then get the book on pre order. It's on promotion for 99 cents until May 26th. It's only 99 cents. Get the book. I'll put
For
the link in
one,
the
volume one, two,
description.
and three, right?
Yes, for volume one, two, and three, 99 cents on ebook on the pre-order. So get that. I'll put the link in the description as well. And yeah, I just look forward to all the amazing, exciting stuff we're going to be doing.
Can I also say how much of a pleasure it's been to work with you? You have
Oh,
been an
Kelly.
absolute delight to work with, honestly. This could have been a very daunting and stressful process, but and as somebody who's been writing for 10 years, I can attest to that, right? But I have complete understanding how you've been placed in my path as a blessing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. You were so kind. You say the kindest, sweetest things. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, this is my work. I make it look easy because this is what I was meant to do. So I
Mhm.
have the I don't know, the skills, I guess, mentally to do what I need to do. And I get to work with amazing people every day like you. So thank you.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Well, you have a good evening further, and I will speak to you soon.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you, Ameera.
You're welcome. Bye.